All right, welcome to a brand new project where I will attempt to make short videos on some of the inspiration and I've been collecting from the Keser Shem Tov teachings of the Baal Shem Tov. So this is our first episode. I'm recording it in a forest, which I find to be very appropriate as the Baal Shem Tov loved hanging out in the forest. So as the first episode, I want to make an introduction to Keser Shem Tov. For the sake of context, in Keser Shem Tov, he often brings in his writings, he writes about tzaddikim and he writes about rashaim, that tzaddikim will act in a certain way and a rasha acts in a certain way. And it's important to understand that we're not talking about two different people. It's always the same person. At times he's like a rasha, at times he's like a tzaddik. So when we learn it that way, we understand that we're not talking about other people. What he's teaching us is about ourselves. It's about us. It's about me, and it's about you. And like the main teachings of the Baal Shem Tov are the ones that we're very familiar with is that other people act as a mirror for us. And if we break that down, we begin to understand that we're the only thing that really exists. It's just me. And I use the rest of the world, everything that's here, as a mirror to see where I am in my service to Hashem. Where am I holding? So if I have a judgment against somebody else, I understand this is a part of me I haven't accepted yet, or I haven't come to terms with, or made peace with, or transformed. So I see it in you and I begin to judge it. It's always about me. So when I learn about a tzaddik and I learn about a rasha, I'm also not talking about two different people. And one's a tzaddik and one's a rasha. It's all really me. When I'm a tzaddik, I act in a certain state of consciousness. And when I'm a rasha, I will be acting in a different way. So that's just that short introduction, because so many of the prakim discuss, a tzaddik is this and a rasha is that. That's the introduction, and we'll also throw a little bit in, little lesson of the day. The Baal Shem Tov he's talking about how there are different tiferes. Now we're in during the days of tiferes Haimer, so it's more important. People get very excited about going through the tiferes and tiferes Haimer, which is awesome, but we can do it all year. But anywho, so he talks about chesed, Gevurah, and tiferes, and there are times there's chesed that's above, and when we say above, we mean in its pure state. When it comes below, it can either go this way or it can go that way. It can be chesed that's pure or chesed that's impure. The same is with Gevurah, the same is with tiferes. So about chesed, he says, in its purity, it's tainug, it's pleasure. In its impurity, it is znus, sexual misconduct. So, which is also very pleasurable, but used negatively, versus chesed in its pure form would be tainug, that is appropriate. About Gevurah, and really in this piece that I'm bringing down, I'm infusing a few pieces here. When he brings about tiferes, he says tiferes is like bragging. It's pride. And in its light side, it would be anything a person has that he's proud of, he recognizes it as tools that God has given him. And then when he praises it, he doesn't praise it as my wealth and my chesed, my everything. He actually says, this is God's gifts that I embody, and I use them to enhance my world and the world around me. They're not mine because I somehow earned them or own them, but they belong to Hashem. And so we use the praise and the pride towards Hashem, not towards ourselves. On that note, we can also use the same logic to say whenever we have an issue with something, we can always say this issue isn't actually mine, it's Hashem's issue that I'm trying to help sort out and co-create with God. And instead of walking around and saying my marriage is terrible and my business is terrible and I have all this issues and I have all these other issues, I can start changing the language to say there's an issue with my business that needs to be dealt with, and this marriage that I'm in needs a little bit of help, versus like it's mine, and then I have all the responsibility, and obviously I'm not really capable of taking care of the whole world around me. It's a lot, so I hand it back to God. Say the marriage needs help, the business needs help. It's yours. Guide me to where I need to go to make things work out. And then back to Gevurah, which is the punchline I want to deliver today. He speaks about Gevurah, and he says Gevurah, and it's Gevurah is also Yira, which we'll get into in a different episode what Yira really means. But Yira could be fear, and a person can be fearful of God and do what's right, stay on the right track, or that's a tzaddik. He uses his Yira to keep him straight, and a rasha uses Yira, his fear is a fear of poverty, and therefore he stops giving tzedakah, which I found to be so fascinating, because anytime I get distracted by financial problems, which are very often, the funds aren't there, and if I find myself becoming really afraid, I know, like, hey, I'm clearly not connected with Hashem right now. That's my indication. Like, I've become so afraid of this money crisis, and then I know I'm in a state of rasha. I'm distant from God. I'm not connected. I'm not connected to myself. I'm not connected to Hashem. And this money problem became God, the new God. How do we solve this problem? Oh no, I'm freaking out. I'm really scared. Let me hold on to my money a little bit tighter. And that is a state of being a rasha. Back to like I introduced this new series. When I say rasha, that's me being in my rasha state, disconnected from God. And when I can snap out of that and notice, hey, you're worrying about money, it's because you're not connected. This has nothing to do with money. This is just letting you know, Mendy, you're disconnected. Then I can come back to my tzaddik state and understand, oh, this is just an indication for me that I've gone a little bit astray and I need to realign myself with Hashem, put my trust there and build that relationship up again, knowing this is my source of everything, and to you, I am connected. To you, I give my business. To you, I give my marriage. To you, I give everything. We will continue.